Oh, good. Thank you. Is he, I don't see, is Mr. Dorsey here with us? Yeah, there he is. I see him. Can you put him up on the screen? Mr. Dorsey, good morning. Would you introduce yourself, tell us your name and your DOC number? Yeah, I can't, you need to unmute your microphone. There you go. I think it's unmuted. Go ahead, say it again.
Brandon Marcel Dorsey.
What's your DOC number?
497061.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dorsey. Good morning. My name is Cheryl Renanza, serving as chairman of your parole panel this morning. You have, excuse me. We have some folks who are here in support today who want to speak on your behalf. We have your cousin, Tara Bursey. Your friend, your cousin, Shanette Dorsey, and sister Tamara Dorsey. Also observing this morning that will not be speaking is LaToya Dorsey, your sister. We also have an opposition, its mother, Ms. Catherine Harris, who will be also speaking this morning in opposition. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. We'll talk about your period of incarceration. Do you have a staff member there in the room with you?
No, ma'am. You need one?
No, that's okay. You by yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And then we'll hear from the folks who indicated they want to speak, and at the end, you'll be allowed to make a statement before we reach a decision.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are Brandon M. Dorsey. You're currently serving 17 years for convictions in Washita Parish. Forgery, you received a 10-year sentence. Manslaughter, 3-year sentence. Manslaughter, 7 years. All those sentences are running concurrently, so it's 17. You have your parole eligibility date is February 25th, 2022. You have an mandatory release date, good time date, December 13th, 2023. Your full term date is September 21st, 2021. Mr. Dorsey, is all that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Dorsey. How long have you been in jail?
6 years.
6 years. And you're currently in work release, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Rapides Parish work release.
Where do you work?
I work at the cottage restaurant.
What do you do?
I'm head cook.
How long have you been there?
I've been there 4 years.
4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing, let's see. So did you work there before?
No, ma'am. I've been working there since I've been in work release.
So I'm showing work release. Let me look at the record. I'm showing you've been in work release since 2018. Is that correct? So that would be 4 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And I see a little bit of transferring in and out, COVID transfers. I guess thing was shut down. So tell us about, concerned about you. I'm glad you've done well in work release. Obviously, you have a good conduct record, or you still wouldn't be in the work release program. When was your last write-up?
I never had a write-up since my incarceration, since 2017.
So tell us why you seem to be able to follow the rules. Why are you in jail? What happened?
I broke the law, got into some trouble, and then paying debts to society, got into some trouble, ended up with a fighting and shooting, and there's some bad things happened that night, the wrong place at the wrong time. I learned my lesson from that, though. All the trouble is over for me with trouble. Just was at the wrong place at the wrong time with someone I ain't supposed to be.
But tell us what you did. Manslaughter.
You had broke up.
Tell us exactly what you did.
So you breaking up.
Tell us what you did. Can you hear me now?
Yes, man. I got guys at a nightclub, and we went to fighting, and the guy was shooting at me. I was shooting back, and he ended up shooting the guy, killing him.
Well, what were you fighting over?
It just was like, I went to the club, and some dudes they picked with me and started with me and started fighting. Hit me first, and it started from fighting to shooting. Just a lot of stuff that took place that night, fighting and shooting, and just a lot of stuff happened that night at the club.
How many victims do you have in that incident?
It was 2 victims.
They were brothers?
Yeah, they was brothers.
So had you been drinking?
No, man, I wasn't drinking.
Drugs?
Drugs?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of drugs?
Marijuana?
So you were smoking marijuana, but you weren't drinking.
No, ma'am.
So tell us, Mr. Dorsey, have you been able to take any classes since you've been incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am. I took 3 classes. I took reentry, living in balance, and risk management. And I also took Pride program in District Correctional Center.
So you are a Pride member at DCI?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what you learned in living in balance.
I learned how to set goals and accomplish goals. I learned how to manage a checkbook. I learned how to manage financial ability. I learned how to control my anger and don't let my anger get me back in the situations and places like this no more.
What about the risk management program? Was that substance abuse?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you get out of that program?
It's about like not being around people that want to drink and get you into like alcoholic, and being yourself, and like, just being yourself.
So given the nature of your crime, Mr. Dorsey, and I do see some prior violent offenses, simple battery, and attempted second-degree murder, although you pled to aggravated assault in that case. Given your history, tell us why you think we ought to consider you for early release. You have a mandatory release date in December of next year. You get down anyway. Why do you think we ought to let you out early?
I want a second chance in society. I got a family, kids, and I learned my lesson from what put me in here. Now I want to go home and work and be able to take care of my family and kids and just live and stay out of trouble, stay away from around negative people, bad people, the old environment. I don't even deal with them no more, talk to them no more, nothing. Like, since I've been here, I rehabilitated myself and just learned my lesson. And really just get home to myself.
Tell us about your transition plan. Whenever you get out of jail, whenever that might be, where are you going to go? How are you going to support yourself? Where are you going to live?
I'm going to go to Monroe home on 135 Better Drive. And I got a job waiting on me at Salt, Pipe and Steel. Go there and work and provide and take care of my family.
Where were you working at the time this offense happened to you?
I was working at the city of Monroe.
You working for
sanitation department.
So what's the job at the pipe and steel place? What's that going to be?
You say what's in it?
What is it going to be? What kind of job is that for you?
It's a steel company.
Right. So what is your job going to be? Do you know?
Not yet. I don't know. I got a cousin that worked there, and I talk to him all the time. He telling me when he get out, he gonna give me a hire on there with him to give me a place of employment to stay out of trouble and be able to work.
Yeah, the address in Monroe. Who else lives there?
My cousin.
The cousin is gonna help you with the job.
No, not that cousin. This another cousin.
And what about your children? Where do they live? You have children?
Yes, ma'am. I got 3 kids. They live in Monroe, Louisiana.
How old are
Brandon 18, Jemiah 15, Jamel 30.
they? They live with their mother?
Yes, they with their mother.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, let me, I don't see any other, Ms. Jackson has a question.
Okay.
Hi, how you doing, Mr. Dorsey?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm fine. There was only one person killed, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you only got a 7-year sentence for manslaughter, which is a pretty low sentence for manslaughter. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And you get out in about a year. And I've heard you talk, and one of the things that you said kind of struck me. You said you were done with trouble, trouble is over for you, but the loss of the victim is not over for you. And I don't know that you have a recognition of that. Your whole thing is about you're only going to be away from your family for another year. The other family will be without their loved one for the rest of their lives. And I haven't heard you say anything about how many victims. Well, the victims in your case are all the whose lives have been impacted by the death of the person that you killed.
I'm sorry about. I apologize to the family. I'm sorry, like what happened about the whole situation about the killing part and everything. I apologize to the family. I'm sorry for what happened. And I pray that they forgive me.
Well, why should they forgive you? You killed their loved ones senselessly. It was unnecessary.
Yes,
you could have walked away. You could have left the scene, and you didn't.
I know. Yes, ma'am.
So again, given the fact that you had such a short sentence to begin with, how do you think the family would feel if you got out early on a sentence that was already short?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I have.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, we're going to hear from the folks who are here that want to speak on your behalf. Could we hear from Tiara Bursey?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to speak on Mr. Dorsey. Not only do I think Mr. Dorsey is going to come home and be an asset to his kids, his family, my kids, also to our community as a whole. Even before Mr. Dorsey went in to serve his time, I seen a change in him. And I really think that he's been, he has changed and can come out and still live a good life.
Thank you. We appreciate your input.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Jeanette Dorsey, can we hear from you? You're still on mute.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Good morning. I'm Jeanette. I'm Brandon's oldest cousin. Here this morning speaking on his behalf. I truly believe that Brandon has rehabilitated himself. I've been with him from the beginning of his sentence, even up to now. Before he even got sentenced, I saw the change in him. We talked about goals, and by him being a head cook and me owning my own catering company here in Monroe, I offered him, to help, work with me until he gets employed, at the Souls Pipe and Steel. He's been very involved, with his children, with his son graduating high school or whatever. I had his son with me. I talk to Brandon a lot. For him to be my cousin, we're more like brothers, and he has the support from his family, his pastor, his community as a whole. And I hope that you guys will give him that chance to come home, to speak to other youth in our community, because it's needed here in Monroe. Just to give his testimony and the things that he went through and how he got through and how God, delivered him. And not only that, but just really just asking favor from the other family, just to, finding in their heart to forgive, even though I know it won't bring their loved one back, but just to know that from his family, like, we apologize as well. That's pretty much all I had to say.
And thank you. Tamara Dorsey.
Good morning. I'm Brandy's middle sister. I'm a little emotional, but I want the other side of the family to forgive. Yes, we do still have our loved one here. They don't have their loved one. And it was a situation that happened at night. But I hope that his mother found in her heart to forgive, which is hard to do because we probably would feel the same way if it was our loved one. But over the time, while Bernie been gone, even before he was gone, I've been there every step of the way. And I hope that the system found in their heart to give him a second chance. And that's about all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll hear from Catherine Harris now.
Can you hear me?
Man, we can't. You can't. Anybody, just a second, we're gonna get you up on our screen. There you go. Go ahead, ma'am. You're muted. We can't hear you now. Your microphone's muted. Can you unmute it?
I just did. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Catherine Harris. I'm the victim's mother, and I do not wish for Brandon to be paroled because he have did this offense many other times and got slapped on the wrist. That's exactly what happened this time with a smaller sentence. He took a life, and I feel like he should give his life. A life for a life, which Louisiana don't believe in that, and that's just totally wrong. And that's all I have to say.
Well, yes, ma'am. Thank you. We appreciate your input. Mr. Dorsey, is there something you'd like to say to us?
Yes, ma'am. I just would like a second chance at life to get out to society with my family and kids. I apologize to the family about what happened, about the love, also their loved one. I apologize, deeply. I had learned my lesson. Since my incarceration, I had rehabilitated my whole life, everything.
What's your level of education, Mr. Dorsey?
12th grade.
You got your high school diploma?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you ever taken any victim awareness classes? I didn't see that in your list.
I took the Living the Balance.
Yeah, that's a different class. There's a class that's offered, well, I know it was offered at BCI at least, specifically called victim awareness. You've not taken that class?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, it's time to vote. I'll be voting first. I'm concerned about you. I listened to what Ms. Harris said. She's opposed, obviously. She noted previous assault or attempted second-degree murder charge that you got a very light sentence for because you pled to an aggravated assault. You got 6 months in parish jail. That was in 2007. This offense, I believe, happened in 2009 or 2009. And really just don't think anything of it, it seems. You say you're sorry, but I'm not feeling that from you. That's why I asked about the victim awareness. You seem to not have any empathy for what the victim and victim's family had gone through. So that's a little concerning. Although I've done well, you took some classes that were available to you at DCI. You score out as a low risk to reoffend. You've not had any write-ups since you've been in prison. And you were a member of the Pride program, which speaks to me. You do have a release date in 12 months. I'd be willing to give you a chance, Mr. Dorsey, and grant your parole, grant your early release, but would add a special condition that you do enroll in an awareness class. Your parole officer, if you're successful today, your parole officer can help you with that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just one vote there, Mr. Roche.
Mr. Dawson, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to congratulate you. You've been in transitional work program 4 years, and you have no disciplinary issues, and that's very rare. You have good programs, but you need the victim awareness. You have a low risk assessment. As conditions after release, I want you to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I want you to do community service with at-risk youth. One of your cousins mentioned that you have a lot to offer, and the young people in your community need to hear your testimony and try to lead them in the right direction. And I
Yes,
also want you to attend NAA meetings at least twice a week. And a marijuana issue before you were incarcerated. So I want you to at least attend NAA meetings a week. Good luck. I'm granting your request for early release.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, I kind of view the situation differently from my colleagues. You know, it's kind of offensive to me that you and your family are asking for a second chance, as if you've got 30, 40 years left to serve. You have 1 year left to serve on a very short sentence to begin with. And all of those good things that your family thinks you're able to do, you can start doing on December the 13th of 2023. You know, there are some people who are asking for a second chance, but they have 30 or 40 years ahead of you. You only have 1 year. And to me, that's not too much to ask that you serve out this sentence in light of the fact you took someone's life and you only served 6 years for killing someone needlessly.
I served longer than 6 years.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not asking for your opinion. If you serve the full sentence that you got, that's still a very short sentence. And so for you to be unwilling to serve until December 13th of 2023 shows me that you have no awareness whatsoever of the pain and grief that you have caused this family and the additional pain and grief that they will suffer if you get out early. Again, only 1 year. Only 1 year left to serve. And so that's your second chance. So my vote today is to deny because of the amount of time you served is short. Victim opposition and that you get out in a year. So my vote is to deny.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, you've received 2 favorable votes to bring your release. 1 vote to deny. You do qualify for a majority vote because of the classes you've taken. You've not had any write-ups. You completed the 100 hours of pre-release. You did the risk management program, and you have your high school diplomas. So your parole has been granted today with the special conditions that we have explained to you. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Don't disappoint us.
It was granted or denied?
Granted,
Granted parole? Thank you.
don't disappoint us,
I'm not gonna disappoint you, ma'am. Thank y'all.
sir.
I was confused too at the beginning. So he did get parole because of all the programs. The 2-to-1 went out. That was interesting. So like at one point, if he'd gotten denied, I would totally agree with the argument of it's just 1 more year. You took a life, you got a life sentence, serve it out. And then on the flip side, I hear, well, when you let someone out early, you have the ability to set criteria for the release. For example, he has a curfew. He has to do community service. He has to take a class. Those are things that you cannot include as part of a stipulation if you were to just get out in a year. So on that side, it's like, isn't it better to have those safety rails and structure to increase the chance that he doesn't come back? At the same time, I hear from the victim's point of view that you got to just serve out your sentence. I mean, it's 1 year. The idea that he even is taking time from someone else who to sit on this parole board, you can argue is not okay. But that's just my thoughts. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your comments below.